When saving for a house deposit, it is easy to believe the story that the bigger your house deposit, the better off financially you will be. The theory goes that if you can just hold on a little bit longer and save up an extra 5% of deposit, you will drop interest rate bands and save money.
But is this really true? And if so, how much money can you save? And is it really worth it? Let's check it out.
Welcome to Money Unshackled, the investment channel that sets you and your finances free. This is Andy, I'm Ben, and if you like what we say, hit that like button and click subscribe.
Also, if you want to support the channel, check out some of the affiliate links in the description below. We've listed loads of cool stuff that will help you become financially free. Let's get into it.
The Halifax 25-year home mortgage. Today, we're going to use a Halifax 25-year 2-year fixed rate mortgage as our illustrative example and use the three most popular deposit sizes of 10%, 15% and 20% and see which is best. This mortgage is representative of the wider market and gives us a good read on the mortgage market as a whole. So let's kick off with our first example.
10% deposit. So we've decided to buy a house for £200,000 with a 10% deposit of £20,000. The house price doesn't matter to prove which deposit size is best, but at least this is a nice round number for our workings. Halifax will charge us interest of 2.2% for this size of deposit, which equates initially to £330 per month. To translate this into a number you will better understand, this is a total monthly payment of £781, including the capital repayment part. Now let's see what happens if we were to increase our deposit to 15%.
15% deposit. The bank has offered us a much lower interest rate at this next deposit band of 1.62%. This does feel like a good saving, and we can see that the monthly interest we pay is now only £230, with total monthly repayment inclusive of capital being £690.
That is a saving of £100 a month in interest when using the 15% deposit compared to the 10% deposit. It's definitely true that a bigger deposit will lead to a lower interest rate and to savings, but don't forget what you had to do to get those savings.
You had to put down an extra 5% deposit, which in this case was 10 grand. £10,000 is no small ask, and we'll come back to this in a minute to see if it was worth it, but first...
20% deposit. Finally, if we use the 20% deposit of £40,000, we can see that we save even more money. Our initial interest payment is now only £211 per month, with total monthly repayments after capital being only £646. But something doesn't feel right with this to us. The interest rate hasn't fallen by that much, at only 1.58%, and we've had to find another £10,000 to get into the 20% bracket. But we are still saving more money, so it's right to go with a 20% deposit, right?
Not really, no. In fact, it's pretty stupid to do this, and here's why. Let's look again at that interest, this time on an annual basis. Remember that we only really care about the interest element in a mortgage appraisal because the capital part remains our money anyway, and whatever your deposit size, you'll pay off the same amount of capital eventually. The initial annual interest on the 10% deposit is £3,960 per year.
Return on investment, opportunity cost. Now what matters most with investing is return on investment, and the same can be said about mortgages. If you're going to put down an extra £10,000 to bring you into that 15% deposit bracket, you'll want to compare the interest saving to that £10,000. And here's the 15%. The annual interest is £2,754, a saving of £1,206 per year compared to a 10% deposit. And look at that, this is effectively a 12% return on investment. We're saying that if you were to put that same £10,000 into an investment account, you would want to be making at least 12% after tax return in order to be equal or better off than you would be putting it on your mortgage.
As a 12% return on investing would be fantastic for most people, we think that using a 15% deposit for a house would be a great deal for most. What we are calculating here is the opportunity cost. You are locking money away in a house that can't be used to make you money elsewhere, such as by investing in the stock market, and so you want to make sure that the interest you are saving on the mortgage is greater than what you could expect to get by investing. A 12% return on your extra £10,000 seems fairly good to us, though of course it is possible to do better than this as an investor. For most people, a 12% return is very good indeed.
Now, let's check out what would happen with a 20% deposit. Surely those amazing savings will continue. Unfortunately, throwing another 10 grand at this house only saves us an extra £226 per year compared to a 15% deposit. A return on this second 10 grand of only 2%. 2% is pathetic. It's worse than what you could get in some bank accounts, and it is definitely not worth the effort it takes to scrimp and save up another £10,000.
Rent alert! Don't forget that while you're saving up to get onto the next deposit band, you are likely burning up your income on rent, or else wearing out your welcome at your parents' house. At some point it's better to just take the plunge.
So, where is that point? We've proven with a market standard product that 20% deposit is likely to not be worth your effort. That drop in monthly repayment on 20% looks good, but that is mostly capital, not interest. You're paying less capital back each month because you're foolishly already paid an extra 10 grand of capital up front. The 15% deposit seems to be where the true savings are to be found, and if you aren't wasting too much time paying rent while you get there, a 15% deposit looks like the choice of champions.
But we would encourage people who have managed to get together a 10% deposit to consider the advantages of simply getting onto the property ladder when you can. You can always invest your future savings into the stock market or other investment products to benefit from large returns. And even with a 10% deposit, you can now start benefiting from rising house prices instead of suffering at its hands.
Whatever deposit size you choose, good luck in becoming a homeowner. Let us know how it goes in the comment section. Thanks for watching! On this channel we talk a lot about personal finance, investing and all things money. And if you want to see more great content, please click the subscribe button below.
This is Money Unshackled. See you next time.